You may not always have a comfortable life and you won't always be able to solve all the world's problems at once, but never underestimate your importance. Courage can be contagious and hope can carry on. The Russian Navy tested the latest combat technology of the active learning defense system named Entity on board the Sevastopol submarine, making Sevastopol undetectable to the enemy. Artificial intelligence is activated by a cross-shaped key that can be split into two parts. Surprisingly, at that time the enemy detected the presence of Sevastopol and fired missiles towards Sevastopol. Sevastopol responded by firing missiles at the enemy, but the enemy missiles suddenly disappeared. Even the missiles fired by Sevastopol turned towards Sevastopol, which resulted in the death of all its crew. MI6 agent Ethan Hunt receives an assignment to retrieve a key piece of the Entity currently in the possession of Ethan's friend Ilsa. In the desert, Ilsa is waiting for Ethan and many other assassins who also want to get the Entity key. They both managed to escape and left evidence as if Ilsa was dead. At the meeting of high-leader American officials, it was discussed about Entity. Entity can infiltrate and sabotage all digital systems without leaving a trace, but then this Entity is able to think for itself and grow out of control. Entity escapes through the internet to infiltrate the military defenses of all countries, but doesn't sabotage anything. If any country can get hold of both keys parts of Entity, then they will be able to rule the world. Ethan, who is in disguise, is in the room and knowing the information about the awesome Entity doesn't want to hand over the key to Kittredge for fear of misuse. At the Abu Dhabi airport, Ethan, Luther and Benji will meet another key buyer. Kittredge's intelligence squad led by Jasper are also after Ethan. Ethan, assisted by Luther, can trick Jasper and his troops. Ethan sees Grace, a master pickpocket who has managed to steal a man's key. Ethan invites Grace to work together in exchange for a sum of money, but it turns out that the key that Grace stole is fake and doesn't match. Guided by Luther, Ethan takes Grace to meet other key buyer and turns out he'd been killed by Paris, Gabriel's men. Ethan is shocked when he meets Gabriel and realizes that the key were stolen by Grace, who flew to Rome. Grace is arrested by the Rome police for having multiple passports, and they already know that Grace is stealing valuables in various countries. Grace is shocked because someone claiming to be her lawyer wants to see her, and it turns out to be Ethan. Grace admits that she was ordered by a mysterious person who later finds out that that person is Alana. Chased by Jasper and Paris, the two of them quickly left the building, but Grace managed to escape from Ethan and stole a police car, resulting in a chase between the four of them. Paris's car crashes into Grace's car and attacks the Rome police, resulting in a shootout between them. Ethan and Grace manage to escape and change to a car for the MI6 facility, a small yellow Fiat. But their faces were caught on CCTV cameras, so they were chased again by the police, Paris and Jasper. With their small car they managed to escape from the police through a small alley. Grace manages to escape from Ethan again. Then Ethan meets Luther, Benji and Ilsa. In Venice, Benji says tonight there is a party being thrown by Alana and there will be another key buyer. Luther says that Gabriel was not detected at the airport because he is an Entity emissary. Gabriel had once killed a woman Ethan cared about. Entity knows that Ethan's weakness is his friends. Ethan asked his friends to leave, but they refused and chose to help Ethan complete the mission to save the world. Ethan and Ilsa come to Alana's party. They meet Gabriel, Paris, Grace and Alana. With a magic trick, Grace manages to hide the key from Gabriel, Alana and her men. Ethan persuades Alana not to give up the keys because if it fall into the wrong hands the world could be screwed. Gabriel, who is an Entity messenger, warns that Entity can do anything to make Alana die. Gabriel asked Alana to bring the keys tomorrow on the Orient Express train. When the guard is off guard, Ethan, Ilsa and Grace try to escape. Ethan chases after Grace guided by Luther, but Entity hacks and takes over Luther's communications to direct Ethan to Gabriel's team, resulting in a fight with Paris. When Paris is defeated and helpless, Ethan doesn't kill her. Grace encounters Gabriel and immediately attacks him. Grace is badly beaten and just before Gabriel kills her, Ilsa comes to save Grace. However, Ilsa loses and dies at the hands of Gabriel. Ethan arrives too late and sees his loved ones killed again by Gabriel. Grace regrets that Ilsa died because of her. Grace wants to help Ethan get another key part from Alana by disguising herself as Alana. But while making a face for Ethan's disguise, the engine is badly damaged, so Grace has to get into the train alone while Ethan plans to enter through the roof of the train using a motorbike. Gabriel and Paris were already on the train and killed the train machinist and damaged the locomotive lever so that the train was going very fast. Ethan failed to jump onto the roof of the train because the train was going too fast, so Ethan had to jump off a cliff using a parachute. Grace, who has been in disguise, attacks Alana until she faints and meets the buyer, who turns out to be Kittredge. Kittredge plans to buy the keys for $100 million to make America the strongest country in the world. Pretending to be Alana, Grace asks Kittredge to protect Grace as Ethan had previously suggested, and Kittredge agrees. In another carriage, Gabriel and Paris attack the American intelligence unit and encounter an intelligence director named Denelinger. Denelinger asks Gabriel to work together. According to him, the entity server is still on the Sevastopol submarine and he is the only person who knows the location of the sinking of Sevastopol. If they manage to find the server, then they can control and even destroy the entity. But Gabriel kills Denelinger because Gabriel knows that Denelinger will definitely betray, as well as Paris, who will betray because she owes a debt of gratitude to Ethan for letting her live. Grace refuses to accept the $100 million and leaves while secretly stealing the key from Kittredge. Then Alana, who was half-conscious, came and told him that the woman before was the person who was in disguise. Grace is pressured by Alana's men, and after handing over the keys, Grace will be killed. Suddenly, Ethan gets into the train and incapacitates Alana's men, but Gabriel retrieves the keys that was thrown. Ethan orders Grace to the front locomotive to stop the train while Ethan chases Gabriel to the roof of the train and a fight ensues. When Gabriel was pushed, Jasper came and pointed a gun so that Ethan would not kill Gabriel, but Gabriel managed to jump onto the soft bed of a truck that he had prepared before. How frustrated Gabriel was when he found out that Ethan had stolen his keys during the fight earlier. Knowing that Gabriel is going to blow up the bridge, Ethan orders Jasper to direct the passengers to the back of the train. Then he meets Grace at the locomotive while showing her the entity keys he managed to steal from Gabriel. Because the locomotive could not be stopped, they decided to disconnect the locomotive from the train cars behind it. The bridge exploded and they ran for the carriages behind it, which one by one started to fall down into the abyss. They were helped by Paris, who was already dying because Gabriel stabbed her. Ethan asks about the entity keys and Paris tells him about the Sevastopol submarine. Ethan plans to run away with Grace, but there is only one parachute, so Grace tells Ethan to run away and allow herself to be caught by Jasper. Grace meets Kittredge and decides to work with Kittredge. This is just the beginning. Entity and Gabriel will not stay silent, knowing Ethan will destroy them. The end. We recommend you watch this film in full. There are many interesting fight scenes that can only be seen if you watch the film in full. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Take care of your health wherever you are. See you in another video.